So I'm shooting my goodbye video. I sold my house. I'm down here in Puerto Rico. I'm on the northeast corner of Puerto Rico. The sun's getting ready to come up. Town called Fajardo, fifth largest municipality in Puerto Rico. So been here 5 years. Came down here to work after Hurricane Maria, and I bought this house. Amazing view. Luna, how are you getting out of the gate? You know Mom's going to yell at me when she comes home and you guys are all hanging out on the street. Huh? Do you want to go back in the house? Come on. You're a mother, by the way. You're supposed to be taking care of your puppies, not running the street. You are not being a responsible father. And you are not being a responsible big brother. But how you doing, Rocco? Hey, baby. These are Sados. Rocco is in Puerto Rico, they call street dogs Sados. He's a Blackie's a Sado too. And Sados are, they're just, my neighbor adopted Rocco. This Blackie is, I think the neighborhood adopted him. There is 500,000 street dogs in Puerto Rico. They're amazing animals. I have one of them over there. We'll see him in a minute. The reason I'm shooting this video is I think I am going to be starting, I don't know, a podcast or might do it off of a website. Something that deals with the current macro environment, of the economic environment that we're in. I keep going on these sites. I follow, I don't want to name people. I go on YouTube and I follow some of these people that are just, everybody's just mystified. How is the U.S. stock market still near an all-time high, but the U.S. economy is completely in the shitter? And there's no, New York manufacturing came out 24 hours ago, and it wasn't even mentioned on Market Watch or CNBC. So this is just, this stock market is just, it's either being cheerleaded up or I'm going to give you my other theory. This was my property. This is an extension of my property. It's one of the reasons I'm selling. Several reasons I'm selling the house. One of the reasons is I think we're heading into a really tough environment in 6 to 12 months, and cash is going to be king. So I was out here working on the house 2 weeks ago, getting it ready for another paint job, and some guy that lives on this island that owns a big company offered me cash, and I took it. And I'm heading over to Aguadilla, and I am hopefully going to be purchasing a house of half the value, a quarter of the work, and I can still stay involved with, if there's 500,000 Satos in Puerto Rico, I'm sure Aguadilla's got its share. That's what I do down here. I kind of try and get stray dogs adopted. And yeah, I don't know if you can see the sun's not up yet. Well, it's up, but it's way out there. You can see Culebra. Anybody that knows Puerto Rico know that's a famous island. Culebra. That is Palomino. That's Isla Verde, Isla Verde. It's Isleta Marina. And way out there is Vieques. You can see it. I can see the lights at night. Then you'll see a couple of trailing off mountains in the background, and that is about 95 miles out from where I'm standing is the American Virgin Islands. British Virgin Islands are over there, and right on a sunny, clear day, right off my fingertip, you can see Crown Mountain in St. Thomas, fifth tallest mountain in the Caribbean. Yeah, my theory, what I'm going to be working on is we got sold out. the American stock market, the Wall Street is no longer a gauge of the American economy. Wall Street is staying up because China is the big investment. 40 years ago, American corporations started investing in China. Trump sat him down a few years ago and said, I want you to move back. I want all American companies coming back to mainland U.S. Mark Cuban said in a podcast, I'm not making stuff up. Mark Cuban was at this meeting at the White House. He said he looked around the room right when President Trump said, I want all American companies moving back stateside. And Mark Cuban said he just read everybody's faces. Apparently he must play poker because that's what you do in poker. And that's called the flop. That's literally President Trump laying down a nut flop saying, I want all American companies back on U.S. soil. And Mark Cuban said that he could tell by everyone's expression that it wasn't going to happen. And that was when and the funny thing is Biden's actually continued. We've actually moved into phase 2 of our trade war with China. Biden activated that. President Biden. Don't act like President Biden and Donald Trump and President Trump, Republicans and Democrats are that. We're not. My show is not even gonna. I don't even want to deal with that. We are where we are at because both parties play golf together on Sundays. China has no. One thing we're going to examine in the first couple of shows is we're going to examine why China has no inflation. Largest economy in the world. Largest consumer, let's say that. Largest consumption economy in the world has no inflation. But it's just ripping through the US and Europe. That's policy. That is whether it was by design or it wasn't by design, that is manufactured, man-made inflation. And that's another thing we're going to touch on in my show. This was all created. This was an excuse for the inflation serves multiple purposes. And one of them is it's an excuse for the Federal Reserve to push the rates up, get us ready for the next economic downturn, and just to give them just so they can lower interest rates and look like they're doing something. 4.9 inflation last month, completely manufactured. They took Walmart, Macy's, moved them from consumer discretionary to consumer staple. And then they moved PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard from tech stocks back over to financials. And what they do is each category is weighted differently, so they can make the number. And 4.9 is a nice psychological number, man. The Fed's been raising interest rates for a year. Hey, we got it under 5%. We got a ways to go. But anyways, I think, one thing that we're going to examine why there's no inflation in China. And another thing we're going to look at, if the U.S. economy is really, truly collapsing, which I believe it is, why are there's only six. There's only $6 trillion market cap companies in the world. There's only half a dozen companies in the world, mega, multinational companies, they call them. They have headquarters everywhere. There's only a half a dozen in the world. 5 of them are in the U.S. Amazon, Alphabet, Apple, Microsoft. Who am I forgetting? I think Tesla's in there. The only one that's not a U.S. company, but we built it, was Saudi Aramco. We built Saudi Arabia's oil facilities in the late 60s, and then we gave it to them. And they incorporated it and put it on the stock market. That was about 2 years ago. There's a lot you guys have missed. And lockdown was a big. The whole COVID was a big. That was the scarf going over the hat before they pulled the rabbit out of the hat. That COVID was the 18 months, the 24 months of COVID was, and they're getting ready to pull the scarf off the hat. And I don't think there's a rabbit left in the hat. I'm on 10 minutes. I want to wrap this up, and this is my prediction. We are May 17th, May 16th. We're May 16th, Wednesday. They're going to cut a deal on. They already cut a deal on the debt ceiling. It's just they're just going to put a spending. They're going to freeze spending. It's going to push through to December of 2025. They're going to come out and say it's just till the end of the year, but it's just going to carry all the way over till December of. December 24. They're going to say at the end of this year, December of 23, they're going to fire up negotiations or not. The spending freeze is going to carry over till, this is my prediction, December of 2024. It's going to be, we're going to be coming off the heels of the craziest election in U.S. history. I don't know who's going to be in it. I don't even know if Biden's going to be in it. I have higher odds on Gavin Newsom. I think we're going the way of Canada, the four largest countries in the Western Hemisphere by population. Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Brazil have all gone hard left socialist in the last 10 years. And my prediction is that we are going to default in January, in the first few months of 2025. We're going to default on our debt, and that's going to be a start of World War III. And we'll get into that some more. All right, I'm cutting this off at 11 and a half minutes. I have no idea what the name of my show is going to be.